Alright, here I am on my E-Zip. This is my own personal bike. And you know, I really haven't shown you this bike in my video series, but done a pretty extensive write-up on my blog, so you have to look back a couple years to see it. But I figured you might want to get a closer look at it and see what a really inexpensive e-bike can do for you. Maybe it could fit into your own personal lifestyle. As you can tell, the motor's just a little noisy. It's got a reduction gear. And it does have kind of an old school brushed motor and drive system, but you know, I really have been comfortable on this bike, and it's not really the bike I would recommend to most people, but boy, they treated us good. My wife and I both have matching ones. Hers is the low frame model. So we're going to pull into the park over here and get a closer look. So of course I am pedaling, using the power a little bit. This particular bike is a full throttle, uses the throttle only, but it does have a control, that little red button right there, that'll make sure the throttle will only work while you're pedaling. Alright, let's pull into this nice little sunny spot. Have a closer look. Okay, there it is. E-Zip Mountain Trails. I've had this bike for well over 4 years, put lots of miles on it. And you know, had a couple little teething problems, but Curry really backed me up well with the warranty on when it was still new. Of course, my wife and I's bike are both upgraded with the lithium batteries. These are the 6.4 amp batteries. I've got a pair of them in this bike. They do offer a 9.8, but didn't really go that route. Now, as you can see, when I first got started, I added fenders. You know, we got blinking lights. Put on some smooth tires. There you can see that drive system. It's actually an external motor. Drives a free wheel on the opposite side of the wheel. Your control box is inside there. And it does have 3 little lights to kind of give you a clue where your battery's at. Of course, I added a computer. That computer is particularly nice. It has a thermometer in it. And it also, the clock stays on when you're parked. Now this does have a suspension fork. Definitely not a real high-end one. It's got V-brakes. Has 6 speeds, all back here in the rear cassette. Well, free wheel, whatever you want to call it. It's got a suspension seat post. You know, and even for a really low-end bike, that seat has been incredibly comfortable. You know, like a lot of the things, it's got a low-end Shimano setup on there. But I got to admit, it's been a great bike. Now, I don't know if you could hear me when we were first riding over here, but I did a really extensive series of articles on these that tell kind of what I had to do to adapt them, how they ride. You know, they are 24-volt bikes. And, you know, unless you live in a really hilly area, 24 volts is all you really need. I mean, these bike companies are going to 36, 48 volts, and you know, that's fine, but you really don't need that kind of power. This bike fits me really well. You know, and even though it's a heavy bike, it rides well as a regular bicycle. It can be a little cumbersome if the power runs out. But anyhow, let's go on my blog, Turbolops Bicycle Blog. Go back a couple years. Gosh, it's an 8 or 9 part series of all on our E-Zips. And you know, you don't have to spend a ton of money on an e-bike. These do come with a real heavy sealed lead acid batteries. About 17 pounds each. These ones are more in the 4-pound range, so it's about 8 for both of them. And with these batteries, depending on how much you pedal, you're looking at about a 10-mile range each. So with a pair, it's about a 20-mile range, and you know, that's pretty good for most anywhere you're going to go. The batteries are a little pricey. And these bikes are still available. The newer ones, I think they probably have increased the quality. Curry technology, I'm sure, has increased the quality on them. The main problems we had was the wheel bearings just weren't set correctly and lubricated correctly, and got that taken care of right away. They come with a built-in rack that holds the batteries. Let me see if we can get a closer look at that chain setup again. Like I say, it's got an external motor on the left side. It drives that freewheel with a short change. It does make changing the rear tire out pretty hard. That's one reason I went to thorn-proof tubes. Well, thorn-resistant. And slime, and I don't know if the slime really helps that much, but any bit helps. And of course, put the tires on right at the beginning. Now this one switch on the side here didn't come marked, but it feeds from the left or the right battery. And it does have a system that if you don't use the power for about 5 minutes, it'll go into sleep mode. So you actually have to turn it off and turn it back on to get it to come back to life. Okay, well anyhow, so remember to Google me. I'm going to climb back aboard and head on back home. Thanks for watching.